Hi, hello, hope you're in fine voice. If you're looking for audiobook work, your number one resource is a site called ACX. Now, this is run by Audible, which is part of Amazon. So you're basically tapping into the largest bookstore in the world, and your chances of finding work there are quite high. If you've got a good voice, you're good at narrating, good at storytelling, and you've got a microphone. You're pretty much there and you're pretty much ready to go. However, the main limitation, I would say, is it's based in the States and you have to live in either Great Britain, so the United Kingdom, or you have to live in the Republic of Ireland, or you have to live in Canada or the US itself. If you're outside any of those territories, so if you're in Australia or India or Malaysia or Germany, you just can't apply. I've no idea why that is. It's a rule they have at the moment, and they're hoping to change it in at some point in the future, whenever that is. But at the moment, it is, I'm afraid, just restricted to those territories. It could be because they have two ways of you being paid. You can go for a pay per finished hour, which is an hourly rate, and that's the completed audiobook time that you get paid for. And the alternative way of remuneration is a system called a royalty share. So that's where you and the author split the royalties 50-50 between you, which is great because you could end up with a passive income if the book sells, of course, and that's the big thing. And I think possibly the restriction to those territories is because of the royalty share and the tax implications. That's just a bit of a guess, but I would think that's why it is. So if you don't live in those territories, you're pretty stuffed, really. You can't get the audiobook work, certainly not from that site. And even if you can, if you live in the US or you live in Britain or Ireland or whatever, you may think, well, I want another resource, really. I don't just want to rely on this particular site, on Audible, for my audiobook narration work. And if that is the case, then I suggest you look at some other sites. Now, one of the biggest alternatives to ACX is a site called Findaway Voices. And these just give you a pay per finished hour. That's how you earn your money. So they will pay you according to the length of the book. Now, bear in mind, a pay per finished hour means that it's the completed audio. It's not the amount of work you've actually put in. And I always say allow a production time of 5 hours. That's 5 hours of your work, so your recording and editing, to produce 1 hour, which is about 10,000 words, 1 hour of completed audio. So a £100 PFH, per finished hour rate, is actually closer to £20 in real terms. So just bear that in mind. But Findaway Voices is a great place to look for work, to look for audiobook work, if you're not necessarily using ACX or in addition to ACX. The next site I recommend you take a look at is Usound.org. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that this URL is actually .org. Don't put .com in because it'll take you to another site that you don't want. So it's usound.org. And a bit similar to Findaway Voices, free to join, free to access that work. Probably slightly less work, I think, than on Findaway. But again, it's another route in for your audiobook work. And they're usually looking for narrators, so get yourself on there. And finally, my last recommendation is a site called SpokenRealms.com. Now, SpokenRealms, I've just actually come across fairly recently, and it looks great. It looks a really professional site, but picking up from what people are saying online about it and picking up from the site itself, I would say that they probably go for people who've got, or talents that have got a bit of experience. So if you've done a couple of audiobooks, particularly on ACX, then that would be a good route in to this particular site. So SpokenRealms is certainly something to consider, but probably wait until you've done a bit of work first. The other sites to look at are not necessarily audiobook sites. So those ones I've just described are in fact just audiobooks. But other sites as well, like voices.com, Voice123, Mandy, the Mandy Network, they also have occasional audiobook work, but it's not necessarily the main source of it. And it's not necessarily a prevalent genre that they deal with, but occasionally they do crop up. So consider those as well. But bear in mind, they are pay-to-play sites. So unlike ACX, unlike Findaway Voices and Usound and SpokenRealms, you do have to pay to go on. You pay a subscription to go on, but the other sites are completely free. So there you go, an alternative to ACX. I hope you found the information useful. Look after your voice, and I'll see you next time.